You are in the background right now from the mirror reflection.
Should I move? Because I don't want to be
Well, the camera's in
distracted.
the picture.
Yeah,
We're doing it
if you want to, or I can
in front of a mirror.
actually.
Well,
We should do it in front of the blue because it's
but it doesn't
blue
have
monkey.
to show that it is. I mean, this could
Yeah,
be
this is like an
interesting.
aura to it.
Well, we did that for one of the interviews, which is
Uh,
fun.
she's not gonna be part of this. It's just me.
Go
Make
ahead,
it loud.
and then
It
I
might get
only
loud.
interrupt if I think there's something I need to, you know, with the movie in mind or whatever, and I'll ask a question if we need it. But if not, just start.
So is this just about Hernan? Not
Right now,
about,
it's just about Herndon.
Not about
No, we may have to
Marilyn.
get them together to do that separately, but you'll do Erilyn to her separate, and then together.
There's more.
That's the way it worked out.
Okay.
You're all through this movie.
I'm a repeat. So Hernan, you're a blue self-existing eagle. But in your family, there's 4 personas. You are eagle, serpent, dog, and sun. And the 4 eagle, well, self-existing eagle is actually the tone 4. There's 13 tones. And you were born the 4, and the 4 is a component of a 13-year cycle. And that cycle is the sun. So you're actually more sun than eagle. And the eagle is about visions. They're creative. They're very, they invent things, and you were telling me about that. That there's a shelf of inventions that you've had. Because the thing about inventions is they're thoughts. They're 4th dimensional. But until we bring them into the 3rd dimension, they just sit there as thoughts. So it's great, but unless you bring them into reality, they won't have life. And that's the serpent part of you. It impregnates the idea to come into life. But what happens with eagles is they have an idea, and then before they impregnate it and birth it, they have another idea. So you're like the golden goose of ideas.
Yes.
So they and eagles are, because they have that vision, they see ahead, they see 4th dimensional. They don't and the difference between an eagle and a serpent is eagles have to step away. They have to go up in the air 300 feet to see that mouse. If that mouse was sitting right next to you, you wouldn't see it, because your way of seeing things is that perspective. You have to have that distance. The serpent helps you see close and more of a touch. So eagle's more analytical, more has the way they think, and it's not a. But then that serpent part of you brings in this kinesthetic, somatic. You know things because you can feel. A serpent knows because it tastes the air, it feels the vibrations, it hears. There's thermal vision. They're blind, by the way. So serpents don't see clear; they see thermal. So they're looking at an object and they're saying, "Is that food?" So it has to taste and see and feel to get a picture. And what that does is that means you have to process that information before you strike, before you move out. And you were a serpent when you turn 10. So there's 4 cycles of 13 years. You were born in the sun cycle as a 4, and then it ended when you turned 9 years old. And then at 10 years old, you moved into the serpent. So from 10 to 22, you had that energy of the serpent. Then that's the opposite of the eagle, more intuitive. It's also more aloof energy, whereas the eagle is the interrogator. It pursues. It goes beyond what people perceive as the limit. Eagles just fly right by limitation, but serpents don't. They stay in the bush. They stay in the rocks. They like to move in the hidden parts, and they don't like to be exposed. So that happened to you at 10 years old. And not only, I show this, right at 10 years old, his third eye awakened, your third eye, and you became thirsty for the bigger picture. And you remember when you were 10, if something like switched on, and the common way of, what is reality, what is truth, religion, and belief systems, that went away. I mean, you had your third eye opens, you're seeing the cosmos the way it really is. Of course, there's no teacher. What we really wish is that the door would fly open, and that guy from Harry Potter, was that big guy? The guy with the motorcycle, he would say, "Herndon, you're a wizard." And he would whisk you away to Hogwarts. Because that's what it feels like when your third eye opens. You need somebody to explain it. What is great? What does all that mean? And that happened at 10 years old.
Yeah, the Beatles.
The Beatles.
Well, it can be for that, yeah.
That was
Music
1963. That was 1963.
Yeah, it was when I exploded into music and art, and I wanted to do it all. I wanted to experience all the art that I could get my hands on, and I wanted to be in movies. I wanted to play music. I wanted to do all this stuff. The heck with school. I want to go do all this.
And this was at 10?
Yeah.
Now, and then because you're born a son, and the son, I haven't talked about that, I mean, that's a big dynamic energy. I mean, being the sun, it illuminates with the power of universal fire. This is they love being on stage. They love being, because the sun sits in the sky. It can't hide well when there's clouds, but it's like being in a bubble or the fishbowl. We all see you. When you're up there, you're on stage, and it's a complete difference from the serpent. So you went from sun, from birth, all the way to the serpent. So you kind of withdrew. You went within yourself at 10 years old. I mean, as a kid, at birth, you're almost like the parent. So, I don't know if you were a challenge to your parents.
Yes,
Because
I was.
you were not a little kid. You could tell them, because the sun is illuminating. Even as a child, you didn't play the little baby part. You wanted to teach, even as a little kid. You saw things different, and
I started to think that I was adopted because I said, well, I am not like anybody in my family.
were they very conservative, very low key?
Yeah, just very normal, and it was like, why am I so different? And I couldn't understand it.
Yeah, that's.
I could not concentrate in school at all. Not at all. My brain was going so fast, I wanted to bypass the education part because it was like, I knew inside of me what I needed to know to do what I'm going to do. And this other stuff was just detaining me. It was strange. I remember growing up and feeling that way. And it was like everything was holding me back. Everything's holding me back. But it's like now at this age, I feel like everything still held me back until this moment. And I keep feeling like any day at any moment, it's going to happen. Whatever I was meant to do is going to happen.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's a strange way to feel. My whole life's been like that.
But you felt constrained as a child because, I mean, it is. It's like taking the sun and putting it in a little box. And the sun is just trying to get out, trying to burst out. And that's what you felt like. You're like, I'm the sun. I mean, you didn't know that. But you knew you had this nuclear fusion energy just bursting out of you. And that's the thing about this knowledge that I'm learning about is that this is natural. There's a difference between normal and natural. Normal kid, that was not going to fit you. But the natural part of you was.
That's right. If you guys want to do the walkthrough here, feel free.
Okay.
Yeah, and you take little breaks because people need it.
Martha,
Hi, Martha.
you know very well.
Oh, because you told me the
The story,
story.
yes.
Nice to meet you.
Tara was a screenwriter and a playwright, and she also has the living room. The living room is the That's her,
told the story about you.
Yeah, they told the story about you in front of 50 people. And there's Ann.
Ann, nice to meet you. How you doing?
Sweetheart.
And so please see these, don't, we'll take a little break and then he gets to digest the information, cause there's more in the bathroom, so you can feel free to walk through.
This is part of the documentary?
Yeah,
Same deal?
yeah,
Cool.
yeah.
Cool. She interviewed me for this
Oh, good.
documentary. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but mine's all X-rated, so it's probably gonna be all right.
Oh, I don't know,
After hours.
there's even more than that, yeah.
Okay, you wanna walk through and?
Yeah,
Okay,
feel free to.
Okay.
Like my favorite is the one here with the fish, I love that one.
Yeah.
This one here, so it's a shame that we're in front of it, but I love that one.
And we went to the bed,
we go.
confessions.
It'll pick up him too,
They
so
have
he'll
sign
move through,
language.
so as long as you guys are cool, you'll see
1976, when you were 23, you moved into the dog cycle of 13 years. And dog is very it loves with the power of heart. So this is a period where you can tend to fall in love a lot, or you can be overly generous. Elvis Presley was a dog, and we know how he brought his posse into the house, and he gave everybody Cadillacs on their birthday. He gave, and so dogs are loving to the point of saving people. There's a difference between saving and serving. I'm a dog, so I had to learn that. But do you remember between 76 and 88 for 13 years? As you're moving into your dog, and you're just what, 23 all the way to 35.
Yeah, it's when the girls you were describing them in the story.
I went through 3 marriages in the exact same time frame he talked about.
Oh,
Exact
no.
same time frame. I went through 3 marriages.
And women I met this woman who was a strict career woman. As soon as she moved into her dog cycle, she said, I woke up that morning and I said, I want 3 kids, I want a house, and I want a husband. And then she said, and I knew who the guy was. And she went and she hooked them, and I'm sitting there in her house. She's got 3 kids, and I'm sitting in her house, and her husband's over there, making her coffee. But dog energy is that way. You may resist, like, I'm just a single guy, but then all of a sudden, boom, you start falling in love.
That's what happened at 23.
And caring. Dogs want to care for people and care for others and have a family, or adopt or bring in, strays and help anybody because they have this big heart, and that's why they get in trouble. Us dogs is we give away everything, and next thing if we won the lottery, I would give most of it away, and then I would find myself broke again. Like, well, I just had the lottery because I've spread the love. So,
Yeah.
But we'll talk about that because there's dramas that play into this system, and I'll tell you what your dramas are. But in 1989, when you turned 36, you moved into your eagle, which is what you were born by year. The year you were born an eagle.
Full cycle.
Well, it's just that you were born in the sun cycle, so you haven't really, each one of these is like a college. You were born in the sun cycle, so you went through that school, and then the serpent, and then the dog, and now in 89, did I say 89, you moved into the eagle, which now you really learn what an eagle is. And that's when your creativity started to really kick in, and about what, bringing your visions and having all these cool ideas. And you remember having from 89 when you were 36 all the way to 48, 2001, 13 years of pursuing and wanting to know and find out and creating,
89 to
inventing. 2001. It's very inventive years.
Yes. I was in the last of that 3rd marriage, and I felt alone. So I kind of even in my work and everything, I was worked out in the barn. I created art objects. I built, musical instruments and things just to. I felt like that I had been imprisoned, but I could still create, and I did. And I created and created and created, and then finally in 2000, I just couldn't stand anymore and I had to bust loose.
So being in those relationships and marriage, your creativity, you had to suppress it? And then all of a sudden now you...
Yeah, I was very, very innovative, did a lot of things, but I more or less was stifled because of having to live a lifestyle that wasn't me. And it was just like, so I'd sit over at the barn and drink a 12-pack of beer every night, and it was like, that's not doing me any good. And I would create things and build things and work on stuff, and it was just all me, just doing stuff all the time. I was mechanicking on all kinds of army trucks. I was building wood projects. I was, doing things for people's homes and things like that. And I was just kind of just staying confined, like I had a yard and had to stay in it, and then finally it just took a toll on me to where by the year 2099 I had an episode that nearly killed me, and I made a decision then that I was going to do what I wanted to do in life. And if it meant making waves, then let the waves begin. Because I finally decided to use my voice and say, this is what I'm going to do. I felt like I had tried to please everybody for too long. And it was time, nobody appreciated it, so it was time to do what I felt like I needed to do. And that's when I busted loose.
Yeah, because there's a thing about the dogs, when they become so generous, and then they start to realize they're being taken for granted. Because nobody's really appreciating it. Then there's this, it switches into this frustration and resentment.
Yeah, I went through
we give them everything, but then we resent them because they don't appreciate it. And what happened, so I'm going to jump into the 4 dramas. I discovered this.
That was some drama.
I was playing with this system, and I went to Mexico City and I learned with the group, even with Jose Guedes, but something was missing, and I had a dream. I read the book Celestine Prophecy, and he talks about 4 dramas in that book. The aloof, the interrogator, the intimidator, and the poor me. And there's 20 tribes in the Mayan system. And I thought, each tribe, they're divided up into 5 families of 4 tribes. And I thought, there's 4 dramas. I wonder if the 4 tribes, in each one we can find a drama. It took me 3 months. In your family, the serpent is the aloof when you turn 10. That's why I say you want to win within yourself. The eagle is the interrogator, which is the opposite of the serpent. The sun, which is what you were really born in the bigger picture, is the intimidator. And the dog, which is what we were just talking about, is the poor me. And the reason a dog is a poor me is because, again, you're taking care of everybody else's need, but your needs. And that's where you were struggling. That's why you had to go drink and dive into all this. But then in the meantime, you're serving everybody. You're at the bottom of the list. So when you hit 1999 is when you were at a point of self-destruction of, because you hadn't taken care of yourself.
Right.
And that's when serving is we have to serve and not save, because when we're saving, we're not taking care of ourselves. So that makes sense that by then you focused on yourself now. So what happened after that?
After that,
When you started taking care of it?
I got more respect out of everybody around me for taking charge of my life, and respect actually for, well, what's he doing now? I'm doing what I'm going to do, And that's the way I put it, not what I wanna do, I'm doing what I'm gonna do. And, I pursued that with that in my soul, even to this day. I've lightened up just a little bit because I feel like I'm going through some type of phase, some type of change in my life that's, big. And, well, it's been like 12 years, right? So I'm going through something right now, but I hit it hard and heavy to solidify my position for the last 10 or 12 years. I hit it really hard and heavy. It's just like FaceTime. I ended up in that book. A picture in that book. I went out and did a lot of stuff, and it was to set the scenes for what's to come next, I believe. But
Well, in 2002, you moved right back into your sun cycle, which you were born, but you were missing the first 3 years, because you were born at 4 of that cycle. So here in 2002, right after you had that baby, you gotta, stop taking care of everybody else. Well, actually, I'm sorry. You did the dog in '88, and you went into your eagle in '89. But we're gonna move all the way to 2002. So the last 12 years, you said you started to really focus on, and that was 2002. And the sun, the sun is the opposite of the dog. It's not that the sun isn't compassionate or generous, but the sun loves from a distance. The sun's way up there going, but I'm loving you, I'm giving you sunshine, but you're up there. There's this disconnection from others, but you needed that because, again, you needed to give that to yourself. It's not about being selfish, it's about being self-serving.
right, and I was very conscious of the selfish thing. I really was. It bothered me a lot. So at least that I had that going on inside of me. It wasn't that I was arrogant to ignore it. I did feel the selfish thing going on, and I tried to appease everyone around me still, and know that I still had to do what I have to do. And
Yeah, and you're still you're coming to the end of that cycle. We're in 2012 right now, but we're still in the Mayan year 2011, because the Mayan years go from July to July. So we're this July, the Mayan year 2012 actually starts. So in Mayan year 2011, you're the 10th serpent of the sun cycle. So for the last 10 years or so, when you moved into your sun, it's when you really started to come, really shine, really find who you are as an artist, as a performer, and just doing it, blazing. Let's just let the sun come in, all blazed out. Now we've done a full cycle. This is a 52-year cycle. And to me, what happens is, in the first cycle, we're learning. We're just kind of stumbling along. And in 2005, you became the 4 eagle for the first time in 52 years. So that's when your full circle came through. And then you began the cycle again. We began the whole 52-year cycle again. But this time we have pockets full of knowledge, because we've gone through these 4 schools already, and now we get to do it again, but do it with more awareness, and not just so less drama, because the dramas are not automatic. The sun doesn't have to be intimidating. We want to illuminate. Suns want to illuminate and get people to see and wake them up and give them a bigger perspective. But when suns are intimidating, it's because it's kind of like a faucet. Like the faucet. This is like filling the glass, great. But it's when you turn on the big faucet, it's like, oh my God. So people get burned by the sun, and people start putting on big sunglasses, or you fry them into bacon. if you overturn it on, have you ever seen that happen to people? You start going on something you're passionate about, and they're like, oh my God.
Yeah, I know. I've always had to turn the burner down.
So now as he readies, because as he comes to the end of the cycle, and he happens to be in a relationship now, which is what this is about, with Erilyn. And we haven't done her description of her cycling through, but he's about to go into dog again?
No, he's about to go back into serpent. But his third eye is about to open for the second time.
Which is very powerful.
Which is happening
what
already.
Which is what you're anticipating already on your own and intuiting that there's a change a-coming, as they would say, right?
Right. And it's like I said at the living room on that last story, I said, this book, strangely as it seems, and this woman that's across the page from me has totally brought me through a door into a whole new awareness and a whole new group of friends and a whole different change in life. And I said, there's something there. And it's, I knew from the very beginning when I got this email from Erilyn to want to meet me. And then through her vacation last summer of her trying to get me to tear away from my commitments and come enjoy life a little bit, I knew inside, I said, this woman is trying to save my life. I felt it. I said, she's trying to save my life, and I'm resisting. And it's very hard. It's very hard to make change. You know how it is. You just don't do it. Some people do, but you've got all these other commitments, and you have to walk lightly and back yourself out of things and start this newness of life. It's like now a lot of people where I do what I do from the old sense are knowing there's somebody else in my life, and they're wondering, who is this person that's taking our Herndon away and shifting him to another mode? So I know all this is coming around. Something's happening.
And because I was telling Corolla, she met somebody. He's a star, but it's a son also. Right? Star is her son. And she's a serpent. And she says, so how does this work out? And it just reminded me when you were saying that. Because as a son, again, and the people that love you and are resisting you changing is because they love this image. You have this persona that you create, but it's up there as a son. And has a distance. And Erilyn, to me, just feels like she's bringing you down here where we can touch you, feel you, and not just see you. And, wow, you know, that's great.
Exactly,
too.
I feel
and
that.
Here, I can connect to you.
I feel that. I really do.
And that's what somebody like her
Because
is
I felt
doing.
like something was missing in my life.
Mhm.
I felt like I was putting on an air and that people didn't know the real me. And then Ampy's even working on that with me too. You know? So I feel it. I feel these things happening. That's amazing though. You know, you're reading it and I'm agreeing because it's as it is happening.
Mhm.
So the energy that he's rolling into right now, in terms of like they're getting ready to renew another 6 months,
Mhm.
what kind of energies are supporting the relationship as this move happens into the snake?
I'm going to show you right now. So, here's Herndon. And Herndon's right here. And he's about to move into this summer. You're going to go into that. It's a 4-year process of your third eye opening. Erilyn has already started that. They're both in the middle of a second, third eye awakening at the same time. And she's moving into her red dragon, you moving into your red serpent. But the idea is, the other thing about this is, see how there's the circle of 4 colors? Each one of those is the red, her red dragon, white world bridger, blue monkey, yellow warrior. Those can be the dramas too. Here's yours, right? Your serpent, dog, eagle, sun. The key, if you notice there's a green one there in the middle, the key of all this is when the four energies are working together. Not one. The drama happens when one dominates. When the sun's too big and then the spin wobbles, and there's a drama. But when they're working together, there's a gyroscope, and then the spiral goes up, because energy builds on itself. There's no, it's not like car burning gasoline, and once it runs out of gasoline, it's done. No, this kind of energy builds on itself. If you get the four working together, there's a balance. There's no drama, because your sun, your serpent, your eagle, the best of the qualities of each one, you're pulling from it. They're feeding you. So you're not just going to be a son. You're not just going to be a dog. You're all four at one time. That's the magic, and that's what Erilyn, you do for her, and she does for you. You each give each other the ability to pull the four together, and once you do that, oh my God, the possibilities.
I get glimpses of that.
Yeah, right.
I do. I share glimpses of that with her, and I think she notices it too. But there are those times where we're just like hitting walls,
And what does it say there about those walls?
Well, I mean, if we look at the dramas, I mean, she's been a warrior, which is for the last 13 years. That ended in the summer of 2010, but she just came out of this. The warrior is the interrogator. You know about warrior because you're a warrior.
Mm-hmm.
They're in the same family, her and Erilyn.
Yes, you go ahead.
And but this monkey of hers it's so loud and bright and it doesn't conform. She resists being normal, and so she wants to always break out, and because monkeys want to play anything serious, like they resist serious stuff. Oh my God, they feel like they're being locked up, like in a straitjacket. But she's the one that wanted to teach you about play, about having fun, enjoying life. Well, you also going to help her find that balance of structure and that there is form, because otherwise the monkey's the poor me in her family, and the reason the monkey's the poor me is because they're always late on their bills, they're always late registering their car, they're getting tickets, or they're late getting somewhere because they're having fun, and so they need to learn to have business and a good sense of business, a good sense of. So while she's teaching you to relax, you're teaching her to take things serious. Focus. Monkeys need focus.
Yeah.
What else?
I think that's it, because when we get her side,
Mm-hmm.
you'll do what you did with Herndon, and then I'll know then when we get her side what the questions are for them together, if there are any, because I think that's very well said. This show that she's getting ready to put up, in a way, because the end is not crafted yet, she's still, partly it's your agreement in a week, I mean, as far as what's going on with her, but she made a big breakthrough yesterday's rehearsal, because there was a conversation you had, which was about, she really got, and she was really touched to the heart about it, let's see if I can remember it, that surrender, that fear, that a lot of my work with her this last year was about recognizing that she had powered through most of her life, disassociated, in shock, and in terror, and would power through it, and to be able to suddenly know that you're powerful and you don't have to disassociate to be powerful, it brings you into a more heart place, and not just always the warrior that's going to cut your head off, because she can, So it's been really lovely, she's recognizing that and she tried to do that with me in the first two shows, and she was acknowledging that, and it's partly what the show is, because at one point she had to say, I'm going to trust to surrender, and that's where she finds herself in the work she's doing with you, which is really very beautiful, very powerful. And what we're documenting here, I think, and why it'll be relevant to more people, is these little bits of what it takes for two people to have one conversation together. You know? And that's a success right there. And there she is, right on cue.
There she is.
You need me?
You had to get her.
Look at you standing by the blue.
Can you come in again and do that? Repeat it, because she's an actor. She can do it. I just wanted to do that entrance and say that same line because it's a nice transition.
You have to say what you're saying. I don't know what to say.
No, just do what you just did. It was really lovely and it's beautiful with the color.
And there she is.
Okay, here she. Oh, and there she is.
Is it time for me?
Yes, it's always time for Erilyn.
There.
I'll do it again.
Okay. One more time.
You need me? No, I love those first things.
Okay,
you said.
what was the first thing she said? No, you need me. I think it's a different thing.
Time for me?
No, do you need me? Go back.
Yeah.
And also remember that acting exercise about I love you. This one is really sincerely. Do you need me? There was a really sweetness when you came in that was not
You're
because
supposed
you were
to
on
deliver
camera.
me a line.
Oh, what was the line? And here she is, right? What did you say, Oscar?
You were telling him how she.
Oh, it takes so much just to have a conversation with another person. That's a
Yes.
success.
Yes.
Cue. Erilyn.
And there she is.
You need me now?
No, couple.
Because he only has 15 minutes and you do me?
Ooh, that's tough.
Is it?
Well, we'll see. We'll see.
Let's
It
start.
took more than 20 minutes to do the other one.
So we know you're a 13 monkey.
A 13 month.
13. And that's like the biggest monkey you get. That's a lot of monkey for a planet. And that makes you a double monkey because the 13 monkey is part of the 13 cycle, monkey cycle. 13s are very they don't do things small, subtle. It's if you have an idea, we're gonna do it global, or we're gonna it's a bigger picture. You have a bigger vision of something. You love to expand on things and.
Yes.
And this monkey part of you, that's what's the biggest part is they're very playful. I mean, very playful. But they can. The beauty of the monkey, the gift of the monkey is to teach us how to make work play. Because it's if we can do that, then we will get up excited to go to work every day. I mean, you know, it's the people that when we become stuffy and rigid and workaholics and no, I can't do anything because I gotta do the. That's where you come in and break us out of that jail or prison of things have to we're in this now we're just like that British movie that always talk about that. So if you were getting paid $5 an hour and having fun, that's what you would do. Instead of a job that's paying you $200 an hour, but you have to do work and be serious, and it's like you rather get paid less and have more fun than get paid a lot and have to do a lot of work. So you resist seriousness, and that's the thing about relationships. When things get really serious, it takes a lot of work. You don't want you don't like a relationship that takes a lot of work. You got to pull out the gloves and wrenches and no. There's no counseling. There's no we got to fix it kind of thing. Either works or it doesn't work. Either flows, or either smooth. That's what you want in life. Everything. You want the kind of work that it's not high maintenance. But should I go? So I was telling Herndon that since
Before I got here.
Yeah, since we're doing the couple, you're both right in the place where this is a 52-year cycle, and You go through 4.
We don't have 52 years.
No, that you've been through.
You've
We've been there.
Yeah.
Been
So,
Been there and done that.
Been there, done
been there,
that.
done that. And in those 52 years, there's 4 13-year cycles. And each one is like a school of learning, and yours you were born in the monkey the first, but then you were right out of it, because the 13 ends the cycle. So you were at the end of a cycle when you were born, and you moved right into warrior as a child, and that's a handful. I mean, a warrior baby growing up, because you're the boss, basically. You're bossing your own parents around. And then a monkey to top it off, born a monkey, and then right into warrior.
That's why her dad built her a trapeze with a monkey.
Built me a trapeze and said,
Really?
"Did that."
How old were you?
I was about 8 or 9, and my dad built a big metal, big round thing, trapeze and swing in the backyard that was taller than the house.
Or you
So we gotta
convinced
get
him.
that child
You
something to
convinced
do.
him to build it.
No, I didn't. I would think I was like a monkey all over the house,
You said
and
before
out
she
in the
breaks
trees
down.
and everything. And he said, "We got to get that girl a swing and a trapeze
Something.
and keep her on there." But of course, what happened was, again, things like this on the end, and then it went across, and another one on the end, an A on each end. And of course, what I did then was crawl up to the top, taller than the house, and cross over and come down the other side. My mother from the kitchen window was like,
So you were on top of the roof.
"Look what you've done now, Paul.
Now,
That
look at
child's
you,
going to
give
kill
the
herself."
monkey. So you went through the warrior for 13 years, then you moved right into your dragon, and you had a third eye awakening at the age of, well, it started at the age of 12, but at the age of 13, you had your third eye. His opened at 10 years old. So kind of similar. And what that
Precocious
does,
little thing, weren't you?
and it just opens you up to the
Qualified.
huge possibilities. Yeah, I mean, do you remember something
It's like where
happening?
you get a vision of who you are that's very crystal clear, and it's as a child, and sometimes younger. I think mine was like 4 or 5. I was really small. You guys were in the next tier. But you get a clear vision of what you're here to do potentially. You know? That's what he's trying to say with this opening is.
It reminds me of the Tom Collins story. I know it's not a joke, that's his name. But Tom Collins told me that he was, like 3, 4 years old, and he doesn't remember anything. And all of a sudden, he kind of faintly remembers getting up on the chair, looking out the window, and it was like, "I'm here. I'm here now." He never had a sense of being there until that moment.
Right, and that's what the third eye opening, that's how it's.
Yeah, and then
It was
and
probably
then-
when I started my period. I thought, this is just too weird. Blood running out of my body doesn't hurt, and you're not going to die.
And you're a red dragon,
Red dragon,
red blood.
that was traumatic.
But it does. It starts as a place of wanting to know everything. Now you want to learn from the masters and from the teachers that are not here, because when you see it through your third eye, the basic stuff is boring. This is big. This is like huge information that you need to be explained. And you went through that till you were 26, 1971, and then you moved into the World Bridger in 1972 at 27. When did you get married?
When
does
I was
Navy
21.
come?
I got divorced at 29.
So you
I'm 30.
were in your dragon, and the dragon is the opposite of the monkey. It's all about structure and order, and so you married this Navy guy who's all about in the military. So you conformed. You put that monkey in check, and you say,
This is what I'm supposed to do.
yeah, and you follow the little wife, and you played the role for how long?
9 years.
9 years, and then in 72, at you're 27, you're still married. You move into the World Bridger, which is
Get that woman under control. You hit another.
Started marching in the streets. I did. Started.
but World Bridger is very diplomatic, very they don't like conflict. They're very gray. as far as they don't take sides, and they can be very vulnerable too. And this is the aloof energy of your family, because each one has your monkey is the poor me. I was mentioning it to Hernan. The warrior was the interrogator. You know, I gotta know, and they don't. What is that word? When you don't trust people, you're skeptical. You're very skeptical as a kid, and then you moved into your dragon, which is the intimidator. So from
I was good at that.
14 till 26, but again, the dragon is all about, you know, marching to the drum and not shaking the boat.
Bush,
you know, you had
shaking the bush.
you had a Navy guy. You don't want to shake the boat. Brought the Navy guy, but the World Bridger is the aloof. So there is a sense of diplomacy. You have to find the balance of. But when did you separate, or when did you?
When I was 30.
At 75. So you started seeing.
But I started getting it out of the box before that.
Yeah, you had enough.
By many years, yeah.
Because you still had the monkey. That is still within. That's your umbrella. You know, the monkey still cannot live in that system too long. Because there's no play. It's all serious, and it's all, you know, me and the little wife. Just after a while, that got old, and you started to shake that.
Take
whole
that tree and get the coconuts.
Yeah, I remember you telling your stories of how you were driving the military crazy, bro.
Yeah.
What did they call
Admiral Zumwalt changed the hair regulations for the entire military based on a letter I wrote him. He said, if you don't quit making my husband look like a freak, I'm going to make him get out of the Navy.
And so, in 1985, you moved back in. You started your monkey cycle that you never started, because you remember you came in at the end of it. All of a sudden, did things start making sense? You were 40.
That's when you started performing. That's when In the West was born.
Yeah.
It was a new chapter for you.
New chapter.
And
Open up my creative side.
Now you were like free to do that. You weren't having or going against anybody else's wishes. It was like you're on your own. You're a monkey again. Full permission to express complete. Because that's what the monkeys do. They express. They're on stage. But they're 24/7 too. That's what they get in trouble. That's why they're the poor me. The monkeys don't know when to take the costume off. it's like,
I never wanted to take the costume off.
And
I like it.
I wrote about how, because you know it's a big party. Life is a big party. But
legendary parties, because he says the Monkey's O's party began around 1985. She
Yep.
couldn't just do a little party.
no.
You know.
I had notorious parties. You had to ride boats across Lake Austin to get to the other side of my party.
Do we have it going?
I read at Antone's, and we had it at Antone's, and there used to be a place called Whiskey River. And I did a 50s party, and I made everybody come dressed to do the bunny hop. We did the bunny hop.
And then you did the sexual fantasy party, right?
Yes, then I had Come As Your Favorite Sexual Fantasy Party. Yeah, that was a rude awakening. People really got into that.
And that's the monkey world. It's play, fun, party, and there's moments though you find yourself alone because everybody goes to their world, their normal world, and monkeys learn that everybody doesn't party 24/7.
I used to think, what's wrong with those people? What do they have to go home for?
Make a good rock star.
What do you mean go to sleep? I know, I always thought that. I should hang out with rock stars or be one myself because I'm the only one that can stay up late like that. All my friends are hanging out with musicians. They go on, he drives me crazy. He comes home at 2 o'clock in the morning.
So before we gotta let him go, give that information.
So here you are, both of you back in your second third eye awakening. Yours is you're already in the middle of yours, and Hernan is about to move into that place where his third eye awakening. But what's key is that you see these four colors. I wanted to show him. I was showing him that the dramas are not automatic. But when one of these four, because this for you, this is your dragon, your warbird, your monkey, and your warrior. The four energies, when one dominates, it pulls the span into a wobble, and that's when we move into a drama. But the green, if you see the green in the middle, that stands for the four coming together and just balance, completely, nobody's dominating. So when you have your dragon, your warrior, your monkey, and your warbridger clicking together,
multitasking,
then the magic really happens.
But it's
And
balanced.
That's balance, and both of you are doing that for each other. You're bringing all four of his dog, his serpent, his eagle, and his son into that, gyroscope of spin. Because once it starts to do that, it builds, and the creativity goes completely into hyper gear. But,
oh boy!
yeah. So to prevent the drama, though, we have to have those. Because if your monkey's all overpowering, then there's that you move into the poor me. If you're warrior, because that's what you're in now.
I need to shave my monkey some.
Actually, you moved into your warrior, back into your warrior in 1998, and that's the interrogator, and that's the one that's
That's
skeptical.
the cutting your heads off that we've been
Yeah.
talking about in the show. That you
Yeah,
were powering through.
I did some damage then, that's for
Very
sure.
skeptical. Don't trust anybody. Don't you want to know when somebody says I'm a doctor, you start pulling in on where to go to school and where to do this because you don't believe them. You don't believe anything anybody says. You don't take it for what is that saying? You don't take it for granted, or you want to go behind in the curtain and see. There might be another old man behind the Wizard of Oz, and that's what you're looking for. But now, with the balance, you want to trust more. You want to believe. You want to relax and put down the sword and the shield.
Yeah, I kind of felt that way at first. I said, she's trying to check me out, make sure I'm real. Are you real?
Yeah. Well, because it's like to her, she sees the Trojan horse.
In black.
Her
Trojan
gaze-
horse in black.
For the last 13 years, her gates have been so high, nobody's been able to come inside.
The Russians are coming.
Yeah.
The Russians are coming.
The Greeks. The Greeks are coming. And the thing about having a big wall, you're protected, but you're alone. And all you see when you go out there is when you see a Trojan horse, oh, that's bullshit. It's fake. And you helped Herndon come down because he's in his sun cycle. He's blazing, beautiful, bright, but he's up there. He's all it's all an image. The sun is it's not doing us anything. So you bring him here, so you can feel him, and he's real. Wow. And that's what you do for each other. He can still be a star and a sun and bright and illuminate, but he can do it down here and be human and be person and real and touchable and then I'll have to touch on your warrior. You don't have to have walls to protect you. You don't have to have a moat with alligators
Anymore.
You can say, I'm safe. You can feel safe
Okay.
being in a relationship.
Very nice. We should.
Here we are, May 19th, 2012 at the West Austin Art Tour. And I have 84 pieces of art on the wall. First time it's ever been in one place.
And today you've got some Mayan astrology and henna tattoo going on?
Yes,
Alright.
we have, well now that's not tattooing, it's called, what's that called?
Henna.
Henna.
They've been doing henna.
We're doing henna. I haven't got mine yet.
But Oscar Madera over there in the purple is a Mayan astrologer, and he did a reading for Herndon, and then did their combination, and Erlen's is still waiting to happen.
Great. And your gallery is going to be open tomorrow for the West Austin
Yes,
City
and this
Tour,
is Frances, she's been at almost every show, and this is Ann, who's been at every show. And people are coming in the front door right now. I can see them out there.
Okay. Everyone say Erilyn on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Erilyn!